Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, today we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of me being behind my desk and filming some sort of video about finance, I wanted to do one of these day in the life of a financial advisor videos because a lot of people have been requesting it and I thought it'd be overall just fun to do. But first things first, before we get into any of that, there's a couple things we have to understand, right? If you are watching this because you're a new or aspiring financial advisor and you want to see what the career is like, well, this might not exactly be accurate because there's a few things here, right? Like, I've been doing this for 6 years, right? And not only that, I actually run my own business. So all of that being said, without being a mile up my own, it's like, this is a pretty ideal situation because I've gone through that initial grind stage. I've built something up that's my own. I can make my own schedule. I have that freedom. So I think it's important to understand that if you're a beginning financial advisor, your day should not look like this. You should probably be working a little bit harder than this, to be honest, and you should be working on different things. And as someone who's self-employed, I have a very different day than someone who works as an associate for another advisor or for someone who, somebody who works in a more traditional role, right? And on top of all of those other things, there is no typical day in the life of a financial advisor. Every day is a little bit different, as you're probably gonna see in this video. But without further ado, I thought we would do a day in my life as a 6th-year self-employed financial advisor who runs their own business. So let's get into it.
Good morning, guys. So, first things first, I'm gonna throw in something really comfy. And we're gonna go walk for a coffee, and then we're gonna bring you through the morning routine. We'll get started.
So here we are for the first part of my day. Got the coffee, feeling great. If you're wondering, does this guy actually go for a walk every morning? Well, yeah, 100%. Go for a walk, grab the coffee, and in the winter, that's not an option here. So I gotta take advantage of it in the summer, so I make sure I do. And really the main part of this is just, I don't know, I feel like I get my head in such a better space when I've got my legs moving in the morning, when I'm not just sedentary sitting around. So I'll go around and I'll bring you through my morning routine, which to be honest, do I do it every day? Probably not, but I usually do it the most when I'm in a bad headspace and I need to kind of like reset. So I'll bring you through exactly what that all entails and maybe get some cool shots of the place that I live in and kind of walk around every morning. And it's getting dark, like these mornings are so dark already, kind of getting cold. So it's nice to be out here. I don't imagine I'm gonna have too many of these left. So I found myself a nice little park bench in the neighborhood. And I think now that I'm doing this on camera, I realize how weird this might be. Like I have some Zen Buddhist old man morning routine, but my general thought is I'm walking around just trying to clear my head and first and foremost think about things I'm grateful for. Now this might sound really weird, but there's some thoughts behind this because for a long time I struggled about this whole idea that I have so much. And now that might seem super weird, but for the longest time I struggled with the idea that I have so much, but I'm always like so upset and ungrateful about things. So my thought was, okay, if I try to come up with a list of things I'm grateful for every single day, well, that means my mind is probably gonna start scanning nature for things to be grateful for, right? Because you run out of ideas within like 2 or 3 days of what you're grateful for. And then what you have to do is every time something beautiful or empathetic or lovely happens in life, your mind tags it and says, hey, when I have to come up with a list of things I'm grateful for tomorrow, now I've got one. So you go through your life scanning for things to feel happy about instead of scanning for things that you don't have. And I know that sounds kind of really cheesy, but it really helps me. And that's kind of one of the things I do in the mornings. So the next part of the morning, I usually do this part at home because it's hard to focus outside, but for me, it's just spending time in complete silence with nothing in my mind. Trying to clear my head with just create a state where there's no desire, create a state where for a little bit, I'm not trying to strive for something, I'm not trying to get something, it's just enjoying the moment as I live it. So the ironic part of the morning routine is that right after I spend a moment by myself, kind of in silence and with no desire, kind of meditating, I guess you could say, my next thing to think about is think about all the things that I want. The idea is, where do I want my life to go? what kind of future excites me? How can I design my life? What are my goals in business or my personal life for these sorts of things? And really just think on those. And then lastly, kind of devise what are the next steps? What are the next 6 things that I have to do to get those done? So anyways, guys, that's kind of like the average morning walk. Just trying to like, I don't know, put myself in a good headspace. Back at the office now, or the home office I should say, and now that I feel kind of primed, my mind feels at peace and tranquil, I feel like I'm ready to, have a great day. And what better way to ruin that than by to start the day with the news? And that's usually where things start. And I'm not really looking at the news per se, but what I'm doing is I'm starting with the listing of all the different investments and companies that all of our clients own. And they all own very different ones, but I can create a list of all the different holdings or investments that our clients own. And I can kind of see which ones are doing really well and which ones are doing really poorly. And I'll kind of show you here. So effectively what I have is this list, and it shows me, okay, I can organize it by, okay, what's the percentage change overnight in any of these different businesses? And by the way, guys, do not take this as investment advice. Just because you see a stock here doesn't mean you should buy it. This is purely part of clients' overall portfolio. So disclaimer, not investment advice. But what I'm doing is I'm effectively organizing this by what has gone up or down in a significant way overnight. And right now, the one that's done the best is Canadian Natural Resources. And the one that's done the worst is a company called Atlas Corp. That probably has to do with Evergrande situation in China. But with all of that said, guys, my main goal here isn't to, this doesn't make me a better investor. This isn't gonna get higher returns. The main idea here is that I need to be prepared to communicate with things with clients. So if there is an investment that's done really, really well, and maybe there's a massive news release or something came out about it that I should know, then, the percentage change in the stock tends to give me a good evidence that something has happened. If I see any major moves up or down in one of the holdings that we have, that's something I should look into and be ready to communicate with clients about, right? That's really what this is all about. And after that, what I'll do is I'll just head over to like the major media outlets. For instance, I'll kind of have CNBC, and today one of the things many of you might recognize that, Facebook had a massive outage today. Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp have been down. We look at the Wall Street Journal, kind of the stories are about OPEC and kind of China's Evergrande situation. But this is really the way the day starts. It's kind of skimming the world news, seeing what I can add to the narratives in the market right now. What are the big stories and how do they fit into the overall context of where we are economically or from an investment perspective, and trying to see, okay, what are the holdings that we have for clients need attention or should I be prepared to communicate on? And that's really what I'm doing first thing in the morning, is just kind of getting a general update. What the heck's going on in the market? Now, once that's done, we can move on to the next part.
I likes cream cheese, okay?
Now, after I get my breakfast going, I get into the part of my day that I do every single day. This is one of those things that actually happens every day. It's answering my texts, my emails, my DMs, and my comments on the various social channels. Wait a second, guys, I totally lied about one thing. And usually, I'm gonna be honest, before I get to my texts and my emails and answering all the requests, I'm gonna do 2 things. First, I'm gonna check the weather. And secondly, I'm gonna check how clear my schedule is post 4:30, 5 o'clock. And if the weather's nice, which it is, 25 degrees today, I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, probably about 70 something. And if my schedule's pretty clear, which it kind of is, but we'll work around that, I go straight to the tea sheet and I book myself an evening tea time, because if it's nice out and if I don't have a lot of work to do in the evening, I'm going golfing. So today, it doesn't look great, but I'll probably book something around 6:30, maybe hopefully get in a meal, get all my work done before 5, head to the course, and I'll play around with golf with the boys. So I've finally finished up answering all those client requests, all those texts and DMs and emails. They're all taken care of. They're all behind me. People are happy. The trains are running on time. That's fantastic. And now it's not quite lunch yet. I've gotten all this done and it's only about 11:15. So what that means is that I have to choose. Do I want to have an early lunch and bog myself down with like a big meal, or should I just get to work right away? But all that matters is this next part of my day is about the big projects. That's really what it's all about. Once I've answered all the major requests, now it's things like, how do we push the business forward? Are there prospects that want to become clients that we need to come up with a pitch for? Are there clients that we need to build proposals for? Right now, I think today's big project is that we're rebuilding our website. It's been down for a while, so I have to actually get to work on rebuilding our website so we have some online presence. And you know what? That's probably what I'm gonna get to right now. I'm gonna have lunch later. By the way, guys, one of the main things I haven't really remarked on yet is that in between all of these things, whether it's answering my emails and all those requests or working on the major projects or whatever it might be, throughout the day, I don't necessarily get to choose when clients book with me. Obviously, I have like a public calendar that all my clients can go to, and so I know I was about to get ready on my website, but I've realized I actually have a call in 15 minutes. So I have to hop on Zoom, I'm gonna work with a client, help them sort out some financial planning issues, they have some questions, so I'm gonna get to that. But that's another part of this job, right, is I have a set template of what I'd like my day to be like, but very often there's calls that get layered in between there. Sometimes I'll hop on a Zoom or I'll hop on a phone call or I'll have to go for a coffee or something like that. I get to go for a coffee, Josh, not have to go for a coffee. I get to go for a coffee. But anyways, all that said, my main point here is calls can come in at any point and that can kind of disrupt your day or can take you down a different path. But for me, today's running according to schedule, which is great. Just gonna hop on this call. At that point, I'll probably want lunch and then we'll get to work on the website afterwards. So I just got off this call with a client. It was fantastic, and essentially just a breakdown of what happened. So I have a client who left a job, and a lot of the times when people are working at a job, they accumulate some sort of pension or investments or benefits at that job that they're entitled to. And when they move jobs, they have the option to take those investments or that pension with them. They get to transfer it to somewhere private or something like that. So this client was curious, okay, how does this affect me? And I kind of walked him through the options. Well, what you can effectively do is you can transfer your investments over to us and we'll manage those for you. And then we'll do the financial planning on an as-we-go basis. So now that we know that we have this set chunk of money coming from the old employer, we're gonna help that client invest that new money once they receive it, and then they're gonna continue their pension with their new employer. So really all this call was about was seeing how this employment change, although it wasn't a big salary increase or a big lifestyle change, it's like trying to plan out, now that we've switched from one type of pension to a different one, how do we make sure that we're still on track to achieve our retirement goals and certain things like that? So that was really the main purpose of the call. Went great. Looks like there'll be a nice little new piece of business for us. Clients are happy, but now it's time for lunch. Now this part is unbelievably easy because I manage my meals in such a way to save as much time as possible. So I have these meal prep kits that look like this, and this looks like buttered chicken. Am I in the mood for buttered chicken? Maybe a Mexican burrito bowl. Oh, no, this is the one right here. Oh my God. I'm going with chicken, bacon, ranch, mac and cheese. That's my pick for the day. And I'm gonna throw this in the microwave and clean up the mess I just made on the floor.
A few moments later.
Now, for one of my favorite parts of the day. You know, I remember saying I go golfing with the boys, but here's the boys. They're all around me, everywhere. I'm out here by myself, probably first and foremost because no one would really want to golf around a guy who's taking video of the whole thing. But I thought I'd bring you guys along because this has become my zen. This has become my meditation. This game is fantastic, especially when you get the chance to go out on your own. Today, I thought I'd bring you guys along, maybe record some shots, see how it goes. You know, I'll try to be as honest as I can. I won't take any mulligans, no redos. I'm gonna hit some shots. We're gonna enjoy the golf course together. And I think, in the words of Ron Carson, who's a very successful and famous wealth advisor, financial personality, he said you have to have some sort of passion marketing. You have to have something that you really love to do where you can meet new people and you can market. And I'm not golfing because I want to market or get new business, but it's such a great place to meet new people, expand your network, and who knows where those take you. Maybe over time you get new clients, or maybe over time your business grows, or you find a new business partner. But anyways, guys, let's go hit some shots. So just got back from the golf course, guys. Had an absolutely lovely time. It was a beautiful night. Hit the ball pretty well, so all in all, can't complain. And I'm just kind of trying to kill a little bit of time here before Alana gets home. And one of the things that you need to understand as a financial advisor is that a lot of the time you will send clients requests throughout the day, and they're at work during the day. And so what that means is a lot of the time the responses and a lot of the actions, steps you need to take come in the evening. So it's never a horrible idea for me to just kind of hop on my computer one last time before calling it a night and just making sure that there's any little items left over. For instance, I had a big mass email sent out today. A lot of people are now replying to that. So I'm just gonna chip away at those until Alana gets home, and then I'll have less to do in the morning. So work is all done for the day, no more of that. And this has kind of been a day in the life, guys. Usually in the evening now, it's gonna be some form of socializing, going out to a restaurant, hanging out with some friends, doing something fun, but it is a Monday after all. Not a ton to do, especially given restrictions. And yeah, this has kind of been it. Probably at this point, I'll kind of wait until Alana gets home. We'll sit on the couch and argue about what to watch on Netflix until we find something we equally hate, and then we'll just spend the whole time on our phones, which sounds perfect. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video whatsoever, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and turn on post notifications for more videos just like this one every single week. Until next time.